Hi guys, my name is Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. People ask a lot about Mercury. Mercury is a planet of communication. It's also a lot of your mental power. Mercury, I always have felt like, is a piece of your sun sign. Here's your sun sign, it's your essence, your ego. And now your Mercury cannot be more than a sign away. So if you're a Libra, you either have your Mercury in Virgo, Libra, or Scorpio, because those are the two signs next to it. Say you're in Aries. You either have your Mercury in Pisces, Aries, or Taurus. Now, people find that they feel a lot like the sign that their Mercury's in because it is your brain. So I guess I shouldn't say feel, it's like you think. You think like the sign that your Mercury's in. So you may be a Libra, but you might think like a Virgo. You might speak like a Virgo. Things go through your head, they process like a Virgo because your Mercury is in Virgo. So if you know about the signs, you can know about the way you think. Even if, say, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, those are different signs, but they're next to each other because they bleed into each other. The one thing I will tell you is that people who have their Mercury in the same sign as their sun seem to speak a lot quicker, they seem to not process as much, and they don't seem to get that stumped look when you're talking to them. But someone with their Mercury in a different sign than their sun, say you're a Libra and your Mercury's in Scorpio, and all of a sudden you're going to feel like you're delayed because Scorpio is different than Libra. In order to process all the things, they have to be funneled through the Scorpio before they get to your Libra. All right, so with that being said, this is the way that you are in your Mercury sign. Aries is first always because it's youngest. When you are in Aries Mercury, you're impulsive, you speak quickly, you're direct, you make decisions really quickly, you don't like to dilly-dally, you hate that kind of stuff, and you really want to get your point across, and you might seem a little bit forceful, even if you're a Pisces. All of a sudden you're like, oh, that makes sense, right? You're a Pisces with an Aries Mercury, this is why you are that way. Now Taurus. Taurus is slow, it's steady. People with their Taurus Mercury can get on YouTube or videotape themselves and just go bum ba-dum 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 bum and keep talking. They don't need to do rough cuts or anything like that because they have a steady flow. It might not be quick, but it's steady. You are a steady thinker, a steady communicator, and it all comes out that way. Now Gemini. Gemini talks a lot, thinks really quickly, thinks about all different things. So you're always up and over and down and together and far around. Gemini can just grab things from everywhere and combine it and spit it out. Cancer Mercury. Cancer Mercury is slow and calculating. It's one of the slower ones. If you've noticed this little trend, Aries is quick, Taurus is slow, Gemini is quick, Cancer is slow. Cancer Mercuries really want to get to a deeper meaning of things. When it goes in, they want to feel nurtured by their thoughts, basically. They want to communicate in a sweet, loving way. And sometimes they can be very manipulative. A lot of the water ones are manipulative. Now we're back to fire with Leo. Leo Mercuries are loud, boisterous. They want to command attention in a room. They want to roar. Imagine you're a Virgo and you have a Leo Mercury. You want to roar. When Mercury is in Leo, you kind of demand the attention. You want things to revolve around your mind. You want people to rally on your ideas and your thoughts. Now, Virgo is exalted. Virgo is the place where Mercury is the best. Now, obviously, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so is Virgo. Virgo is so much more detail-oriented, and they don't go on and on and on. Virgo Mercury is to the point, says what it wants to say always. They're very meticulous about the words that they say because their brain works that way. It compartmentalizes very easily in a Virgo way. It analyzes and controls its thoughts. Gemini has a harder time with that because it has so many, but Virgo has mastered that. So Virgo Mercury is beautiful. Now, Libra Mercury. I have a Libra Mercury. I do a lot of rough cuts. Libra Mercuries are indecisive because their brain can never figure out what they want to do. Oh my God. They like to engage people in their thoughts. They're definitely open thinkers. They don't just have a thought and then they just hide it forever. No, they're relational, so their thoughts belong to everybody else. And they want to give everybody their thoughts, and they get kind of concerned when everybody's not on their side with their amazing thoughts. Scorpio Mercury. Scorpio Mercury is a hard place for Mercury to be in. All the water signs kind of are because you imagine water is feeling, Mercury's are logical thoughts. So whenever it gets into a water sign like Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, it's going to drown a little bit. It's going to feel too much. It's going to be a little bit hard to hold on to, wrap your finger around. Everything needs to be deep and important, or otherwise it's not worth saying. Scorpio Mercuries upset people with their thoughts because their thoughts are dangerous. Because Scorpio is dangerous. It doesn't mean that they are upsetting people. That's just what they think of. They think the worst sometimes, and they think very deeply. Sagittarius Mercuries are far off thinkers. If Gemini is thinking so much and trying to get everything out, Sagittarius is the opposite. And in a way, it's hard for Mercury to be in Sagittarius because it wants to be fire and it wants to tell you its ideas, but then at the same time, its ideas are everywhere, really far away, a very big picture. So they might say, you know, I had this idea and this dream once that I could do all these things. Pause for effect. It's highly intelligent, but sometimes it's so intelligent it goes over everybody else's head. So you have these thoughts and you communicate and it doesn't get to people in the way you want it to. Like Capricorn Mercury. Mercury in the earth signs is fun. Goes into session, knows exactly what it wants to say. Capricorn is a little like that, but it wants to speak with power. So it's going to choose what it says very carefully so that it penetrates your mind and that you are a slave to it. Capricorn Mercury, though, might have some issues with speaking because Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. There's some issue that you overcome, and slowly but surely you gain more and more power with your voice. Aquarius is the original sign. It's the rebellious one. It's the crazy one. Having an Aquarius Mercury is like saying that you have the original mind. You have the rebellious voice. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. It's also ruled by Saturn, just like Capricorn. That means it's a steady growth to being able to change the world through your crazy ideas. Definitely have the genius mind. But not everybody's going to understand you, and you're going to have to deal with that a lot. So Pisces, completely penetrating feeling, last sign of the zodiac, wants to just get down to the deepest part of everything that it possibly can, and sometimes you just want to hear someone say that they're going to go walk the dog. You don't need to know where they're going to walk the dog, why they're going to walk the dog. Pisces in general act like this, no matter where their Mercury is, trying to explain all these crazy ideas. Your Sun and your Mercury are so connected. The Sun-Mercury midpoint is that point exactly who they are, how they think, what they say, and how everybody will perceive them when you're not looking at their ascendant. It's a perfect conglomeration of your Sun and your Mercury together. So your Sun and your Mercury really do matter together. Probably then explains a little bit more about why you're not completely speaking like your Sun sign, why you don't think like your Sun sign. It could be that your Mercury is a sign over. It could be that there's a planet between your Sun and your Mercury. Something dividing them. It could be that they're so far away that you feel like there's such a disconnect, or they could be right on top of each other, so you don't have any thought process. Like everything that comes out of your head goes out your mouth and is already there, and you don't have a chance to filter. All those things happen between your Mercury and your Sun and how they relate. Anyway, that is your Mercury.